Hey, it's Alofa Lava. Leotawa, Dr. John Peterson here, TE2 Edge Sports Cards, coming at you live and direct from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Back at the card table here, folks. Hope everyone's doing well. It's been a while since I've done a video, probably a week or so. I've just been so busy processing cards and haven't had a chance to upload a lot. And I've been busy with work and family and stuff, so I apologize for the infrequent uploads, and hopefully I can add a little bit more to what's going on here on the channel this coming week. A couple quick things. I'll be at the Rosemount card show today, Saturday. Rosemount is south of the Twin Cities. I'll be setting up with my good friend Eli McCausland again, as we did last weekend at the Menominee Card Show, and looking forward to having a really good time with that. We've got a PSA reveal here today. I'll just preface this by saying it's not good. It's one of, well, I'm not even going to say how bad it is. It's something that you can leave in the comments and let me know how bad this was on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being pure annihilation by PSA grader and 10 being pure success for TE2 Edge Sports Cards and Dr. John. So check it out.
TE2 Edge Sports Cards. Get out.
All right. Let's get started here. Let the bloodshed and the brutality and annihilation let it begin. There were 38 cards in the order. Originally there were actually 40. These numbers are a tiny bit off. There were 40 cards in the order. 3 came back as min size. 2 came back as min size. 1 came back as miscut. I don't know about that. But I just said 38 cards at $20. The grading fee total was $7.60. Shipping fee was $60. A little less because it wasn't as large of an order. The outlay on the cards was $30, 75 cents a card. Total outlay $850. I had the estimated value at $31.85, and I had the estimated profit at just under $2,000. So this was a smaller order, and I knew it was going to be the smaller of the 2 orders. Yeah, I had it at $19.20 for the estimated profit. So I'll give you the final numbers on the estimated, the final value and the final profit, and then the delta between the 2, estimated and final. Let's see here. What else? I think that's it. I think we're just going to go through the cards now, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Overall, I think I got a bad grader. You know, it happens. I didn't think this was going to be like an earth-shattering, world record-breaking type of order. You're just not going to get that with KG and Garnett to start off with. And even though Shaq was on the back end of the order, I didn't think this was going to be a huge thing for me, But I figured I'd do better than I did. Not nearly as bad as this turned out. So let's take a look and see how bad this really got. So for starters, we had, oh jeez, this is just so annoying. PSA. This came back as miscut. I don't know. I'm trying to think if I've ever had a card like this come back as miscut. Maybe. I haven't checked the size. I don't typically check the size of these cards when I submit them. I don't do the little measuring tool thing. I don't know. It's just not really been something that I've wanted to invest much time into. This is the Special Forces. Not a huge card, but still, I thought this was going to do well. I thought it was going to at least be an 8. And it's a sweet set. I used to have the Jordan in that. So that didn't get graded because it was min size. What does min size even mean? It's like the card doesn't meet the minimum size requirement. It's too small? I don't know. I've never really understood exactly what min size is. I suppose I should go into the definitions for what PSA has for that. Now this card, this really I got to tell you, this killed me. This killed the order. This is a very tough card to get. Depending on who you talk to, the print run was 250 or 750. Very low, non-numbered. But this is the 96. Well, it came from 95 Gallery, but the 96 Players Private Issue for Gallery is in the it's a 96 is the year that they put on it. I think in a 10, this could have been at least $1,000 card, but they wouldn't grade it. So, and I thought this card looked really good. Can take it out of the penny sleeve here. We got a little fuzz on there. Now I see there's a scratch on it. I didn't see this scratch prior to submitting it. See that scratch there? So yeah, this wouldn't get a 10. I do not remember that scratch being on that card. In fact, when I submitted this, I thought this had a legitimate shot at a 10. Now it's probably a 7. I'll have to go back and see. I don't think I did a pre-recorded video for this, but I do not remember that scratch and that. For sure not that one. It's like right into his eye. It looks like there's actually a couple scratches over here. I don't know. You know, we're human. The PSA graders are human. And it's very possible that I missed it. Is it possible that it got scratched at PSA? Yeah, it is. I mean, I'd have to go back into the video archives to see, because I know that I have shown this card before on video. But yeah, I was hoping this would at least be a 9. In a 9, it's a, you know, I mean, I just sold a Grant Hill in a 9. That was a $200 card on eBay. And this is at least 2 to 3 times worth more than Grant Hill because it's Shaq. So I don't know. It's frustrating, to say the least. Okay, let's go to the first cards here. Let's quit complaining and whining about stuff. This is the old Net Assets 96 Skybox EX2000 Garnett. I had this pre-graded. I gotta move this stuff here a little bit because I can't really see my notes. Excuse me. I had this pre-graded as a 9. I did not think it would 10. And I was pleasantly surprised to see it come back as a 9. Actually, at that point, I wasn't pleasantly surprised. I was expecting it to come back as a 9. That's a decent card. It's about a $200 card in a 9. This is the Topps gold label. I don't know if this is class 1 or what class this is. It's 99. I had it as a 8. Came back as a 9. Nice card. Young Duncan against younger Garnett. Garnett would have been in the league for about 3 years at this point. So it's a class 1. That's a nice one. I'm not really sure like what the separation is between class 1, class 2, class 3. I don't know. Not a super knowledgeable person about the gold label stuff. This is the EX 96. Thought this was going to be an 8. I knew it had issues. Came back as a 6. No comment. Oh, the gold label's probably worth about $20, and that one's worth about $10. Excuse me. We have the Topps Quest for Gold. I had this as an 8, and I did get an 8 on it, which I was happy about. I mean, if I'm getting the right grade compared to what I've predicted, I'm not the right grade, but the same grade. At least I think it should be the right grade. I'm happy. That's $35. So not a huge card. I actually did decent on KG here. This is the Topps. I don't know if people call it sterling. It's the gold. I don't know if people call it gold. It's the more rare. I had it as an 8, and it got an 8. So, and obviously it's the centering. It's off pretty significantly on the front and the back. Non-refractor, so it's the base. This one is a refractor. This is from 90. Oh, let's see here. This is the 96 Finest Gladiators Refractor. I just want to make sure I get the whole name there right. I had this as an 8, and I got an 8. So happy with that. $70 card, $75 card. I wasn't going to get this graded, but I was like, you know what? Even though it's off-center, let's get it graded. Next one, we've got the holographics from 99, 24/7. I had this as a 9. Thought this looked pretty clean. Came back as a 7, so I was off by 2 grades on this card. I got to get these cards processed. I got to get them priced. I got to get the video uploaded before the show here. I have to leave the house at 7. It's about 4:15 right now, so I'm not going to have a lot of time to spend to like review like what exactly was wrong with that card and why I was off by 2 grades. This one I love this card, Tempered Steel. I had this as a 9. I got a 7. So like I missed something significant with this card. It's got to be a surface issue with the foil. Not a terribly valuable card, even in a 9. You know, $35, $40 card a 9, but this is like a $10 card, so I lost on this. Definitely lost on this. It was a $5 card. So those are basically giveaways for kids, which is fine. I don't have a huge issue with that, but to be off by 2 grades on both of these cards is pretty, as we would say in Wisconsin, piss poor on my part. Or on my part and the grader's part. I don't know. I'm not sure. It seemed like everything in this order was 1 or 2 grades lower than what I had predicted. This is the Upper Deck Electric Court. I thought it was the standard Upper Deck Electric Court. I had it as a 9. It actually is the Electric Court Gold, which I did not know. And this got an 8. Unfortunately, I thought it was a 9. It got an 8. But the good part is that it is much more valuable in a Electric Court Gold than it is for the standard Electric Court. So I have this down as a $210 card and an 8. So that helps a little bit. This is a High Risers, a 96. I had this as an 8. Came back as a 7. I don't know. I mean, if you look at this card compared to other 7s in this insert set, I don't know how that's a 7. I really don't. This is the Flair 97 row 3. I had this as a 9. So at least I was getting the Flair right. Not a big card. $20, $30. The High Risers is about $5. I mean, I might as well keep the High Risers for that. This is the Signature Rookies non-auto. I had this as a 9. And predictably, it came back as a grade lower. And it's an 8. That's about a $5 card right there. So I'm getting some real winners here, folks. I had high hopes for this card. This is the Platinum Portrait 96 metal. Cool card. People are pretty familiar with this insert set. I had it as a 9 and it got an 8. Now you tell me, you take a good look at this card. Corners. You can kind of see the edges a little bit. Maybe there's, I don't know, on the surface, but corners and edges, I don't know. Maybe it's some scratching on it. I don't know how this is an 8. I really don't. I mean, I don't expect it to be a 10. I mean, who expects to get a 10 with PSA these days? Nobody. Especially on this stuff. Even on ultra-modern stuff. But to get an 8, I mean, this isn't even close to what an 8 is. I've seen 8s, unless there's something on the surface that I missed. It's pure fucking stupidity, if you ask me. As you can see, I'm not real happy about this order. This is, yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to just reserve any more swearing comments. At least I'll try. A $25 card. 97 Upper Deck Duncan. I had this as a 5 or 9, excuse me. Came back as an 8. Not a big card anyway, you know, so $40 card down to a $10 card. This is the old EX. Let's see if I make sure I get the right. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, guys. Just a second here. This was a huge order, this South Dakota order, so it takes a little time to keep everything straight with the paperwork, but okay, I think we're good. 97 EX 2001 Duncan. This is rookie. I had this as a 9. $85. Came back as a 7. So, I mean, I can see overgrading these by 1, but like overgrading them by 2. I mean, I've graded a fair amount of these EX to 97 EXs. I know it's an acetate card, but I don't know, a little chipping there. I don't know. I'm not seeing how that's a 7. 8 maybe? Yeah. I had this as a 10. That was probably a reach on my part. Got an 8. So what makes this 1 grade higher than this? No idea. I mean, I could see getting a 9 on this, but an 8? Yeah. Somebody pissed in this grader's Wheaties. As they say. I'm not really upset, but it's just like, my goodness, what in the world? 97 Metal Universe Championship Duncan. That was the miscut that I showed you. This is the next one. 97 Topps Chrome Duncan. Destiny Refractor. I knew this one had issues. I had it as a 7. And I actually got a better grade than what I thought. Got an 8. $50. Duncan doesn't have a ton of value, at least not these kind of base cards. But I wanted to get some Duncan graded. You know what I mean? He's such a great player. This is the let's see here. Flair Showcase Row 2. Had it as a 9. And predictably it came back as an 8. Yeah, I don't know. Everything was a grade or 2 down from what I'd predicted. Skybox EX had this as a 10. Came back as an 8. Yeah, I don't know. That's not a scratch. I don't know. I mean, again, $100 card, so it's not like it would have been like a huge card or anything. But to be off by 2 grades again, I mean, I was off by 2 grades more in this order than I have been collectively in the last probably 5 orders. I don't really track the off by 2 or more grades, but I don't know. Topps Chrome 97. Actually had this as a 9. I actually got this one right. The Duncan portion of this order absolutely kicked my ass. Absolutely kicked my ass. I had this as an 8. Gold medallion came back as an 8. That's a cool card. So I knew there was something with that. This card, I had this as a 10. It was Upper Deck Encore 98, numbered. See, it's numbered on the back to 500. I looked at this card closely, folks. I looked at this card quite a bit because I was like, I felt like of all the Duncan cards, I felt like this one had the best chance of getting a 10. It came back as an 8. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they had a stray dog gnaw on the surface of this card to give me a bad grade, but that's 8. So that's what's that worth? $30. It's not great. All right, on to Shaq. Shaq was a little better. Not a lot better, but a little better. This was a 9 for the pre-grade and came back as a 9. So, $40 card, not a huge card. Hoop Screams isn't really worth a ton, but still a nice card. I like that Hoop Screams set. Those inserts are cool. Upper Deck Future Heroes, Shaq, had it as a 10, came back as an 8. No idea. Not a frickin' clue. Future. No, this is Upper Deck Future Heroes. No, I'm sorry. Ultra Shaq All Rookie. Had this as a 9. Got a 9. $45. It's Anticipation. 95 Flair. Had it as an 8. Got a 9 on it. So there were occasional undergrades. You know, they're actually, for the size of the order, you'll see a fair amount of undergraded. So I gave it a estimated grade that was lower than what the grader gave it. So when the standard deviation is like this, between what I think is a grade that is undergraded by me versus a grade that is overgraded by me, when the standard deviation is like multiples out, it just, I have a hard time understanding how I could be that off from the mean of the last, 10, 11 orders that I've done this year. So to me, that says that the grader, I might have had a more inexperienced grader, or a cranky grader, or a really, really strict, tough grader. This is the larger than life. Again, I had this as a 7. I've graded a fair amount of these larger than life cards. So like, I know what a 7, 6, 8, 5, 10 looks like. Well, I guess I don't know a 10 because I've never graded a 10. But I had this as an 8. As a 7, and it came back as an 8. That is a sweet card. I mean, irrespective of the grade, that is just incredible. These larger than life cards from the 95 Skybox Premium Series 1 stuff, they're some of the coolest cards. I mean, that set is amazing. Larger than life in the first series, and then I can't remember the name of the other insert that's big in that first series, and the second series is the Meltdown. So an 8. So what's that worth? $40. Not a really big card. Still a cool card though, and not easy to get much more than an 8 in those. There's Emotion Intense. Had it as a 10. I just got a Barkley back that I'm auctioning right now, and that's a 10. And this card I compared those two cards together. Those two cards look similar. It's a 9. I mean, I know it's sounding whiny, like a little whiny biatch, but I mean, just like, good Lord. And then this one, so this is a rare card. This is numbered to, I think it's like 25 or something. I don't even know anything about this card. Upper Deck R Class Platinum. I don't know, a viewer, when I originally shared the raw cards from this collection, the viewer was like, that's a really rare Shaq card. It's numbered. So I went back and I was like, oh, sure enough, it is numbered. I had this R Class as an 8. The grader gave it an 8.5. An 8.5 on a card from this, like, this grader must have been very, very by the book. Very by the book. Like, I'm guessing a probably relatively inexperienced grader who just is like, all right, these are the rules and these are the standards, and I have to follow them exactly as they are written and not put any sort of inferential context into how I look and view these cards. An 8.5? Who gives this card an 8.5? I mean, this has got to be one of the rarest cards from the night. What year is this from? This has got to be one of the rarest cards graded from 2004, the entire year, because it's numbered to 25. So already you can't find it on eBay. And on top of it, it's graded at an 8.5. I don't know, man. How do I even evaluate what this is worth? I put $300 on this. I don't know. Who knows what that's worth? 8.5 my ass. Oh, shit. Okay, 1996 Top Stars Gold Seasons Best. I had this as a 9. Guess what, folks? It came back as a 10. So there's another. So of the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. Of the last 5 cards, I undergraded 4 of them. How is that even possible? I mean, I'm not complaining about the 10, but it's like, okay. Next one. Tops, what is this? Oh man, this is like the 50th anniversary. Tops Chrome Shaq. Had this as a 9. And here we are back again. 2 grades under. You can't make it up, man. I see why people get so... I mean, like, this was a humbling experience. This is one of the worst orders I've had in, like, probably 2 years. Fleer Future Shaq had this as an 8. Of course, it came back as a... I'm sorry, this is Center Stage. I had this as a 9. It came back as a 7. That's probably $10 card. At $20. So off by 2 grades there with that one. This is the Futures, Fleer Futures. I had this as an 8. Came back as a 9. So there you go with that. It's a $30 card. No, $50 card. Here's Power in the Key. What do we have on this one? Excuse me, had a 9. Came back as a 7. I didn't see a huge difference between that one and this one. So this was also a 9 pre-grade. It's got to be some surface stuff. It has to be, because when I look at these 2 cards, they look damn near identical in terms of corners and edges. Centering doesn't look significantly different, top to bottom or left to right. So what is the fundamental difference between these 2 cards? The one on the left being a 9 and the one on the right being a 7. It has to be something on the surface that I missed. I don't know. Topps Finest Shaq. I had this as a 9. Excuse me. Oh, let's see here what's going on. Topps First Shaq. I don't know where that is. I'm sorry, Topps Finest Shaq. Yeah. Where is that Finest? Huh. I'm missing one of the cards. There was a blue Topps Finest Shaq that I had as a 9, and it came back as a 10, numbered to 1,500. About $100 card. It's around here somewhere. I apologize. You didn't get a chance to see actually one of the 10s, one of the few 10s I got. I had high hopes for this card. It's off-centered. I had it as a 9, though. That was probably too generous. I think it was probably an 8. It came back as a... Oh, here's the Topps. I'm sorry. Here's the Topps Finest. I had it in my hand. What the hell? It's early morning. I'm still finishing my coffee, I guess. So I had this as a 9. It came back as a 10. So I was happy with that. Not a terribly valuable card. What's about $100? This is the one that I had some high hopes for. It's numbered to 125. Pretty rare card. Had as a 9. Came back as a 7. It wasn't a 9, so that was an overgrade on my part. But, I mean, you look at the centering, it's pretty obvious. But a 7? Yeah, I'm just not seeing what the 7 is with this. Still a valuable card. $250 probably. And then that last card would have been the gallery private issue. So there it is. One of the worst orders I've had probably in the last couple of years. I'm trying to think of an order that I've had that was that off in terms of my estimated pre-grades and such. I don't know. Kind of dumbfounded by this one. So let's take a look at some of the final stuff here. Oh, you know what? I'd like to put this up for folks so they can see how I do this. Put the light back on here. So total outlay $850, thankfully. Estimated value was $31.85, as I said. Estimated profit was $19.20. Final value was about $2,000, and final profit was right around $900. Estimated value delta to the final value was a 37% difference to the negative. The estimated profit to the final profit was a 54% difference to the negative. There were technically 37 cards that were graded. 3 were not graded. The percent correct, overgraded, 2 pluses is overgraded on my part. Excuse me. 2 pluses is undergraded on my part. 8. So 22% were undergraded by me. 27% were correctly graded by me. And a whopping 51% were overgraded by me. My goal is around 20 to 25%. So I was more than double what I like to be at in terms of a standard. 49% were correct or under. 51% were overgraded. That's a really bad job on my part. Really bad. Like, I should never be that far off from the mean. It's just really disappointing. I don't know what happened, really honestly. So this is the order. Arrived June 10th, completed September 24th. July, August, September, 3.5 months. Although there were some issues with some autos that I'd put in there. So there are a couple other cards that are supposed to be in that order. A KG auto and a Shaq 92 gold auto. The Shaq 92 gold auto is not being graded because they can't find any specific information about the auto. I mean, the two of the bigger cards in the entire collection were those 2 Shaq cards, the private issue and the 92 gold auto, and neither one of them were graded. So that really hurt the order, because I thought that those 2 cards together could have been upwards of $2,000 to $4,000 if they'd come back as 10s. And they both looked good. They both looked really good. So, if I hit on those 2 cards, things are okay. It just goes to show that, it really makes a difference which cards you hit on and which ones you don't. Grading percentages, 27%. I already went over that. The current for this year is 49%. I'm sorry. The current for this order is 49 versus 51. The yearly average, 64.5% versus 35.5%. So you can see the average is higher than I'd like for the year. But I was a solid 15, 16 points above in this order the overgraded compared to the average. I mean, that's kind of an anomaly, right? I don't know. Estimated profit, I told you that. 54% off to the negative on the final profit versus the estimated profit. Year to date, estimated profit $27,560. Yearly is $22,380. Still making money, which is good. 19% off to the negative. So if you divide $22,380 into this number, you get, 19% off. Now, this doesn't include the autos from the orders. So, although in the first one I did include the Vince Carter. So, and I sold that card for about $675, by the way. So did good on the Vince. Well, folks, there you go. TE2 Edge Sports Cards. Humbled by PSA grader, who was, for whatever reason, not very happy. And or I did a poor job pre-grading the cards. But it happens, folks, and you can't get down on yourself, and you got to keep and stick to your guns and continue to work your process. It can be demoralizing and frustrating, but you also have to take into consideration you're going to have some graders out there with PSA that just are kind of anomalies. You know, they're having a bad day, they're new, they're this, they're that, who knows? You can't let it get you down, and you have to stick to the processes that have worked for you in the past. And these processes have worked for me. I did get a 121 card order grade drop earlier this week, and that is much, much closer to what I've experienced. And it's a much more diverse order than this South Dakota Collection Series. There's stuff from the 80s, there's stuff from the 90s, there's some modern stuff in it. And overall, I thought it was pretty consistent. Maybe what I'm doing is I'm putting together too diverse of orders. Don't know. Part of it is I want to make the orders that I submit interesting to people, and interesting and something that like a grader would actually want to like sink their teeth into and grade. But you know, like if I've got stuff from the 80s, 90s, and ultra modern, it could be like, oh man, you know, I've got to grade all across this huge continuum of product and years and that sort of thing. So something for me to consider. Because I do believe the graders self-select the stuff that they want to grade unless they've been assigned specifically to grade something. So anyway, all these cards will be on IG, TE2 Edge Sports Cards. You can message me there and ask me if you are interested, or ask me if there's anything, or tell me you're interested in something. And then they'll also be on eBay, TE2 Edge Sports Cards again. And I'll probably end up selling a fair amount of these to some bulk, or to some, not bulk submitters, but some repackers who like these cards, 5, 10, 15, whatnotters, you know, that sort of thing. So I'll get the money back on these, but it's just not gonna be at the profit margin that I was hoping for. So, but that's how it goes. Those are the shakes. You can't let it get you down. You have a blessed day. Take care. Peace out. One love.